guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. So this one's not a giggly one. This one's a sad one. And it's more sad because it could be any of us who drive, um, could be in this woman's place. And, you know, I don't know if she was an aggressive driver or not. I wasn't there. None of us were there. But, I do know that I've been in this situation before as a driver. And, this isn't like it's not a DUI. It's it's not. She was driving and he was driving. So we're gonna play this sad one, and it's a quick one. Was that an ankle monitor? I didn't notice that the first time, but you see the courtroom is all packed on this one side. That's never a good sign. And these people, it's all packed on this side. These people might just be around for the next hearings. They might not even be there for this side at all. He has more than one hearing every day. So,
Brief recess to allow counsel the opportunity to review the pre-sentence investigation report completed by the Adult Probation Department. The party satisfied that they've had that opportunity now, Ms. Burkett?
That's correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Davison?
Yes, thank you.
Very well. As noted earlier, the defendant appeared back on June the 7th. The court has entered a conviction. At this time, we're here for the purpose of sentencing. Before the court makes any pronouncements, Ms. Burkett, I'll turn things over to you for a statement of mitigation on behalf of your client.
Thank you, Your Honor. I had the opportunity prior to the hearing to read the letters from the family members of the victim in this case. It certainly sounds like he was a very special young man. I think what I would like to address is the concern of some family members, and perhaps all, I don't know, about whether or not Ms. Gibson feels genuine remorse for what happened that day. I can tell you I've been representing her for some period of time now. We've had a lot of contact. I haven't had a single time that I've had a contact with her where she's not expressed her remorse for what happened this day. I think it's been worse for her because she has a son of a similar age, and she keeps imagining how the family must be feeling based on how she would feel if she had lost a son. She's expressed it to me over and over again. At the arraignment, she said it was difficult even to be in the room with them because she could sense their grief and felt so bad about it. I would like for them to know that, as is traditional on any criminal case, I told Ms. Gibson not to have any contact with the family because we generally are told not to do that, both by the prosecutor and the probation department. It's just standard pro forma. So she was not able prior to today to have contact with them, at least based on my advice. So I don't want them to mistake that, the fact that they've not heard an apology from her for not having remorse for what happened. So I know that she would like to have the opportunity and is thankful to finally have the opportunity today to apologize. But I want to assure them that her remorse is deep and it is genuine. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burkett. Ms. Gibson, you have a right to make a statement before the court passes sentence, although you're not required to. And the record should reflect that I was provided with a copy of your statement. Did you get a chance to see that as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And when I asked that question, it was asked of the assistant law director. Ms. Gibson, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yes, please. I can only imagine. I wouldn't wish this on anyone, not in a million years. I just wish that it would have had a different outcome for everyone. I can't begin to. I will never be the same. My family won't be. I'm sure they won't be. And I just wish that I just wish it would have been genuinely a different outcome. And I'm very sorry. I just wish that. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Ms. Gibson. Ms. Davison, did the state wish to be heard regarding the matter of sentencing in its capacity as the prosecuting authority? And do any of the family members of Landon Eaton wish to address the court?
Thank you, Your Honor. As far as the state goes, we have discussed this matter in pretrial, actually with Mr. King, who is the assigned prosecutor. We have nothing to add to that previous discussion. However, as you could see, the courtroom was full of Landon's family. The support that they're showing each other right now needs to be noted by the court. I'm sure it certainly has been. I wish I could say every single person's name, and I can, and I apologize for that. However, there are a couple individuals that would like to speak to the court, and a letter that is going to be read from Sarah, our victim advocate. But first off, I believe Mr. Jeremy Eaton, Landon's father, would like to make a statement to the court.
Very well. Mr. Eaton, come on up and have a seat. And the record should reflect that the court has received and reviewed all correspondence from Landon's family. Whenever you're ready, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. My name is Jeremiah Eaton, and I'm Landon Eaton's father. Like several people in the courtroom, I'm going to be the voice and represent him today. I also speak my feelings and my everyday struggles I have from losing Landon. Finally, I'd like to explain how my son is living on, even in death. My son was a delight in my eyes from the moment he was born. He was my firstborn, with his beautiful blue eyes shining up at me. I have countless memories of my son, all throughout his life, starting out when he was younger, just small ones like watching Scooby-Doo, our Reds games, playing video games, fishing, and even more recent memory that happened this year. That my son walked into my work and he was carrying a motorcycle helmet, and I knew that he wanted one. And he comes walking in and he's smiling the biggest smile, just as normal. And he wanted to know if I wanted to take that for a spin. And he asked me, and then he asked me about the motorcycle gloves at work, and I took them over, and he picked them out, and he picked out the black gloves, and he gave me a fist pump. I always have that thought in my memory. My son was just starting out in life. Like most young adults, he was trying to figure out his own life. He had a good start, being a productive citizen in Ohio. He worked at Best Buy at Heath, quickly rising to the top as one of the best associates, not only in knowledge, but in sales. He had his own apartment and furnishing his own items with his own money. Enjoyed several types of foods. We went to several buffets every other week, and he always tried to pay for my meal. It's one thing about it, Landon always tried to do the right thing. And I stopped him, and I took care of it. One day he called me up. This was within the last year, and he called me one night, and he sat down, and he goes, "Dad, I'm down here at John Andrew Honda, and I'm getting a car." And I'm thinking, wow, okay. He's getting a Honda. All right, well, he asked me to come there. So I got there. And to my surprise, I remember him looking at me. Or to my surprise, he was looking at a Lincoln. I'm thinking, he looked at me and he said, "Isn't this great?" I laughed because it was an old person's car. But at 19, my son had bought his first and only car. Landon was blessed with many friends and touched the hearts of several people. Even at his funeral, there was such a turnout and such young lives to come out to see him because he touched their lives. Now that he was paying their respects. But all that changed on October 11th, and my daily struggle had started. I received a frantic phone call from Landon's mother saying Landon was taken to Licking Memorial and was not in good shape. I rushed to the hospital, and I knew the news was going to be terrible. Ms. Gibson, do you know what it feels like to have a clergyman and emergency staff waiting on you as you get there, only to take you to a conference room? You know what they're going to say to you and praying that it's not true. And at that my moment, as a parent, my greatest fear had came true. I was told my son is dead and had died of complications in a motorcycle accident. I wanted to see him. Ms. Gibson, do you know what it's like to see the young, strong son laying there lifeless on a gurney with a sheet covering him? I wasn't even allowed to touch him or hold him that last time because he had to go for an autopsy. Even that action was taken from me. The only clothes that I could tell that he had on was those same black gloves he bought months back at my store. At this point, I realized, and I'm realizing now, that my son will never see another sunset or a sunrise. He'll never experience his own family or his own children. He'll never experience his brothers and his sisters' children. He will never be able to accept the degree of college that he started. He will never have the luxury of getting that final job that made him complete. That nothing will be the same. He's done. For everyday struggles is that I have to relieve. For my work, I have to go by the scene of the crime several times daily. I have to relive it every single day. I have to mentally prepare myself. Some days I lose and break down. And on every Friday, I have to service that speedway and actually stand on the scene. It's one of the most difficult actions I must do that day, both mentally, again, and physically. When I'm at that speedway, I tell Landon I love him every single time. I ask you, Miss Gibson, was it worth it? All you had to do was stop or look twice or not have been in such a hurry to get into speedway for whatever reason. All you had to do is wait a few seconds and my son would be alive. And I don't understand why you can't take responsibility for murdering Landon. He was completely in control of that vehicle. And you decided to choose to run in front of him. With great power comes great responsibility. Not everybody knows how to yield it. Miss Gibson, in my opinion, you should never have that power ever again. And that great power is to drive. Unfortunately, that's not my decision to make. My son Landon personally, though, did make a decision to save other people's lives in death, as he was an organ donor. I would like to read a small little from the Lifeline of Ohio, from his donation. Your son made the decision to donate to help others in need. We are forever grateful for this decision to donate. Thanks to the generosity of heroes like Landon. Many people are waiting a transplant to have a second chance in life. We would like to share this information with your son, about your son. Landon made the generous decision to be a donor. And I am very proud, and they are very proud to call him a hero. This final generous gift to others will never be forgotten. For each month, it seems like that as Landon has passed, his mother and I have gotten a letter stating where his organs have helped people. The latest one was a college student where her ACL and MCL and Landon donation, and it was her life because sports is her life. They also took his eyes, and now somebody can see. Also take skin from his body, and now he helped burn victims. That's just to name a few. And each day, each more, we get more and more where they're improving life and he is saving lives. My son is a hero, and that's one of the greatest achievements that you can have in life. I have a void now in my life. And one day that void will be filled because Landon will be waiting on me in heaven, even though I was supposed to be waiting on him. In birth, our eyes met. In death, I have faith our eyes will meet again. Message to my son Landon, that I love you. I will always love you. And I watch over your brothers and your sisters and your family.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Davison, did anybody else from the family wish to speak?
Yes, I believe Robin Eaton would like to make a statement. It's Landon's mom.
This is stepmom.
Good morning. I'm Robin. I'm Landon's stepmom. You know what I'm about to say won't change your mind or what the probation. Bring Landon back to us, but maybe it'll bring me some closure. On October 11th, 2023, Janie Gibson made a decision that changed the lives of his mother, father, siblings, aunts, uncles, friends, and myself forever. Our lives will never be the same. Every motorcycle I see, I ask myself if that is Landon. I know in my mind that it isn't him. But in my heart, doesn't want to accept the reality that Landon will never make me laugh, smile, or cry. I will never be able to give him another hug. There isn't a day that doesn't go by that something doesn't remind me that Landon will never walk through our door and say hi, ask what's for dinner. Honestly, this reality sucks. And it's a living hell. There is so much in life that Landon will never get to experience. For example, he never got to meet his niece Ava and his nephew Kane, and many more nieces and nephews that were going to be here one day, and his own children, and he never even got to meet his soulmate. All because Miss Gibson couldn't wait a few extra minutes to turn into Speedway. We have been told the evidence doesn't show that Miss Gibson accelerated or even showed aggression to get to her destination. We ask ourselves on a daily basis if she wasn't in a hurry or being aggressive or being an aggressive driver. How is Landon not even with us anymore? Since the day of the accident, I have drove past the site of the accident and asked myself, how did Janie not see him, even hear him? The area is an open area and an open line of sight. If Miss Gibson wasn't in a hurry, then why couldn't she wait 2 to 5 more extra minutes to make her turn into Speedway? Miss Gibson, I leave you with this thought. If one of your children were to be killed in a car accident and the defendant were to only get a little slap on the wrist, how would you feel?
Thank you, Mrs. Eaton. And I believe you said the victim's advocate wished to read a letter on behalf of another family member.
Yes, Your Honor. My understanding is there was another person, Bailey, his stepsister, would also like to make an oral statement. And then, yes, Sarah will be reading his mom's letter.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bailey. I'm Landon's stepsister, but Landon was more than just a stepbrother. He was a protector, a friend, a person that cared about others, and also someone who you can rely on for anything. Landon was a very funny person and could make any situation funny. Landon was also very smart and a good person. I know nothing will bring Landon back, but I do know that this has been the most heart-wrenching and traumatic experience for everyone in Landon's life has endured. And will forever feel the same pain as we did on October 11th of 2023 when Miss Gibson took Landon from us. And Miss Gibson, I hope you never have to feel the pain of losing a loved one in such a traumatic and unexpected way and not get justice for that loved one, because today that's how everyone is feeling that loved Landon, in pain because you couldn't wait a couple more seconds or even look twice before turning into Speedway. probation is not nearly enough for the pain you have caused all of us. Now, every time I think or talk about Landon, I get to think about how Miss Gibson gets to walk free and just with a slap on the hand. We get to live every day with the heartache of what was supposed to be just an enjoyable bike ride. The pain of never having Landon at a family event or having a conversation, of hearing his voice again. Miss Gibson, I hope you Miss Gibson, I hope you know the heartache you have put onto us, but I truly doubt that, because how could you be okay with what you have done and not plead guilty the first time? You deserve so much more than just probation, because you took a life with your car that should equal to a weapon. Landon will forever be 21. Landon will forever be 19 because of your negligence.
Thank you.
The Honorable Judge David Stansberry. My name is Cassandra Hicks Eaton. I am Landon's mom. For 19 years, I had the privilege of being Landon Joseph Eaton's mother before Mrs. Gibson's neglectful driving senselessly took him from me. I've done a lot of things in my life, but being a mom is the only one that counts for anything. Although I have two other amazing sons that I love with all my heart, there is a dark emptiness inside of me from losing Landon, my oldest son. His death will torment me for the rest of my life.
I'm not sure, but so that's Dad, his wife, stepsister, probably another stepsister. This right here might be Mom. She has two sons. There's three here. Well, maybe one's a cousin. I don't know. The advocate was sitting behind this woman. I think this one might be Mom, though. I don't know.
There is a special bond between mother and son like no other. Landon was an absolute joy from the day he was born. He was always so happy and smiling. He loved being the center of attention and was always making us laugh. I always wondered what my children would be like as adults. Landon was one of a kind. He was kind, loving, caring, and hardworking. In fact, that's what he spent doing his last few hours on earth. He was working. All through middle school and high school, Landon played football for Fairfield Union School. His freshman year, he made varsity. That meant Landon was playing 3 teams: freshman team, sophomore team, and varsity team. He had practice or games every single day and never missed any. He was a starter for all 3 teams and team captain. He was a running back and even played quarterback for a season. Landon just excelled at everything he did. The world truly lost a hardworking, productive young man. He never gave up. He never quit. Landon was 19 years old, and he had his own apartment and paid all his own bills. He never would accept any financial help. He was very independent. He had also bought a new car early last year, all on his own, and then bought the motorcycle shortly after. He worked at Best Buy, where he had worked his way up to the manager of the Apple department. He loved that job. Landon was also taking classes online for computer programming. He was doing big things, all the things a 19-year-old young man could dream of. Landon could light up a room with his big, infectious smile, beautiful blue eyes, and goofy laugh. I'd give anything to hear him come through the door telling me all about his day. That's all just memories now. He loved to go fishing and play games. Landon and his brother Logan were best friends, only 18 months apart, and had so much fun hanging out. He would even have his youngest brother Leighton come over to his apartment and hang out and play games. There are no more celebrations with Landon. He passed October 11th, 2023, and 2 days later was his grandpa Sean's birthday. In November, missed mine and my grandpa's birthdays and Thanksgiving. In December, he missed Christmas and Leighton's birthday, and in January, his own birthday. He should have been 20, but instead will remain forever 19. I'll never get to see Landon buy his first home or get married or have babies of his own. He never even got to celebrate a 21st birthday. All the big things in life were taken from him at such a young age. The memory of Landon will live on, even though sometimes I wonder how I can. I've been seeing a psychiatrist since shortly after Landon passed. I've been diagnosed with depression, anxiety, OCD, and PTSD. I can't sleep at night without the help of sleep medication. I wasn't at the crash site and didn't see it in person, but it still plays out in my head every day. And the image of my son laying in a hospital bed passed on will terrorize me forever. I did get to see him one last time or tell him how much I love him. Landon passed away in a street with strangers watching. Our lives as we knew them will never be the same. We are heartbroken and devastated. I never thought I'd have to plan my son's funeral. Landon was an organ donor. He has already saved a few lives, helped someone to get their eyesight, and gave another the ability to walk. That's just a few things his kind heart has done through donation. And because of this, Landon has his name on the donor wall of heroes. To myself and his brothers and grandparents and aunts and uncles and so many friends, Landon will always be our hero. Respectfully, Cassandra Hickson.
Thank you. Anything additionally, Ms. Davison?
No.
In the courtroom, we look for winners and losers. There are no winners in this case. Everybody in this room has lost something. It's been made very obvious with the various witness statements and family member statements, which, by the way, I've read everything that's been submitted to the court. And what was lost on that side of this case will never be replaced. Ms. Gibson lost a normal life that day. And the thing that's probably the hardest is the world the world lost an outstanding young man, by all accounts. I looked at the things from the donor center. I don't know that it was mentioned by anybody, but there was a letter in there that he received from a customer, or that I got from a customer who always made a point to ask for him because of how helpful he was. So the light that he brought to the world is no longer here. Now, there's been a lot of talk about justice for Landon. I don't know what that is. Locking up Miss Gibson for 90 days will make you feel better for about the time you leave from the seat to the time you get to that door. And it's not going to change anything. And I'm mindful of the fact that Miss Gibson has responsibilities in her life to her children and her family as well. Obviously, a luxury that Landon's family will not have. These cases are misdemeanors for a reason. They're based on accidents. For anybody who's been driving for any period of time, I think if we took one long sobering minute to think about it, we could all be sitting at that table. No sentence is going to bring Landon back or put things the way they were. I hope that with this hearing being concluded, it will at least bring this chapter to a close and at least allow you to no longer have to worry about the legal side of things. And you can worry about the healing side of things as much as that's possible. So the court's going to impose the following sentence. The court's going to suspend in its entirety a 90-day jail term, the maximum penalty allowed by law. The defendant will be placed on a period of probation for a period of 2 years and be assessed for an appropriate level of supervision by the adult probation department. I believe that she's already engaged, but if not, she's required to undergo a mental health assessment and continue with any recommendations regarding counseling. I'm going to strike that. It's a work requirement. She's to keep a current mailing address and working phone number on file with the clerk and the probation department at all times and follow any of the rules the probation department sets. She's also to successfully complete a remedial driving course. Now, I will impose the maximum fine of $750 in the court cost, but I am going to suspend $500 of that fine, so there'll be $250 in the cost at this point. And furthermore, the court is going to impose the maximum license suspension of 2 years. I'll make that effective August the 12th of this year. And the probation department can assist her with that. With that being said, as I mentioned, I hope at least with the criminal charges having been resolved, that at least that allows some moving forward as much as that's possible. So with my condolences to all involved, this court stands in recess.
All rise.
How many close calls have we had driving? It could have been any of us. I mean, motorcycles are so damn hard to see. You just don't see them until it's way, way, way too late. And he's 19. I know how I used to drive when I was 19. Whoo, whoo. My 20-year-old nephew bought a motorcycle when he was 19, and he drives so fast. He's gotten into a couple accidents. Luckily, my son, who's 20, is not interested in a motorcycle in any way, shape, or form. He thinks they're dangerous. I don't know where he got that from, but this could have been any of us just driving, just turning into a convenience store, and that's it. Everybody's lives in that courtroom has changed forever. It's just so sad. So sad it choked the judge up and he couldn't speak. Well, guys, thank you for coming out. I shall see you in Judge Fleischer's courtroom or on my next live stream. Hope you have a great day. Bye.